owns his bird rights, and he can do that. He can do something that no other team can. He can give him that extra year. Anybody else, if he leaves, they can only give him 4. The Mavericks can give him 5. Now, this is what, now, they also own Jalen Brunson's bird right exempt.
They did, yeah.
Skip. So let me get this right. Mark Cuban didn't think Jalen Brunson was worth $125 million or $130 million, maybe even as much. Let's go to 150. 30 years, we go $30 million a year for 5 years. He didn't think Jalen Brunson was worth $150 over 5 years. What's the likelihood you're going to give Kyrie? Because Kyrie can go to the max at $275. 5 for $275. That's what Kyrie can get. You feel comfortable he's going to go that number? I'm not.
Neither am I.
He doesn't go to that number, Kyrie's going to shop his services.
Yeah.
And then all bets are off. Once you let Skip, the likelihood of the cow, you let the cow out the barn, Skip, him coming back on his own is not very good.
Yeah.
So Kyrie goes out and shops his services. Somebody, the Lakers or whomever comes like, well, Kyrie, this is what we can do. We got 4 years. We'll give you the 4-year max of what we can give you. It's just, and Skip, I get it. Everybody said all the right things, but there's pause. Skip, what would have hurt Kyrie? You know what, guys? The season didn't go the way we planned it. I definitely did not expect to be sitting here today giving you this interview saying that, you know what, we had a great season. But I like what we had. What I saw, we can build on this. Luka and I will get better. Our chemistry will get better. They'll do a better. Mark Cuban, I have the utmost confidence in him that he's going to put pieces around us that we can compete for a title. Skip, that's all he had to do. Just give him that cliche stuff.
Yeah.
It's stuff like this that cause general managers and owners cause to pause for concern.
Yep.
People don't get that. It's just not about, oh, he's a great player, give him the money. A lot of goes into it. If I got to get, Skip, I got to go in my pocket and give you $55 million a year.
Yep.
I need you to be professional at all times, understanding that, we're not going to win 82 games a season. You're not going to score 40 points a game, every game. But even through the highs and the lows, you talk to the media. Guys, the season, hey, I didn't anticipate this, but we are where we are right now. We'll come back. Luke and I'll get better. Mark Cuban will do a great job of putting pieces around us, and next year will be a lot different than this year. Give him that coach's speak.
Yeah.
It's stuff like this, Skip, that causes Mark Cuban, and it causes a lot of other owners pause. Like, how much has he learned? How much can I trust him to give him $55 million a year, and he will constantly always do the right thing? It's just not about playing basketball when you're dealing with this kind of money. It's just not about, I understand. He gave money to the WNBA. He's tremendous in the community.
Got it.
But there's more to this than just playing basketball, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep. Okay. Just to be fair to Mark Cuban, he said last week that Jalen Brunson and family, parents, did not even give him the chance to match and negotiate the Knicks offer. Well, he had him for 4 years. He could have set the tone. He could have made it where there's no way he would have been interested in the Knicks.
Or what you could have done, Skip, you could have got him, you could have signed him, gave him an offer. Now he wouldn't have been available because you could have extended him before he got to the final year of his contract.
That's what I'm saying. You had every opportunity, and you took none. And all of a sudden he said, well, Leon Rose and the Knicks, they're going to give me this. And it wasn't great money.
Right.
It was good money, but it wasn't great.
Right.
And now Mark Cuban's trying to sell us a load of you know what.
Exactly.
Because he just didn't want him. He didn't value him.
Right.
And all of a sudden, Jalen Brunson is an all-star, and the Knicks are in the playoffs.
Correct.
And Luke is saying, I miss him a lot.
Right.
Well, he should because he's a perfect fit.
Correct.
Kyrie doesn't fit. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say what I said from moment one on this story. Kyrie and Luka will not work. Kyrie and Luka did not work. Kyrie and Luka will not work next year. Won't work next year. Yet Mark Cuban may be stuck PR-wise, marquee-wise, to say, God, what do I have without him? I'm not sure.
Right.
Can I put new pieces around Luka and try to get us back to where we were? Well, you need another Jalen Brunson, and they don't grow on trees. Right. They're not readily available because it was the perfect fit of a star without a star's ego, a star who learned from his father how to play basketball exactly the right way, selflessly, team first, if Luka needs me to go get a bucket, I'll go get a bucket. If he doesn't, I'm happy to watch him play defense.
It works like that, Skip, because he wasn't the first round. He wasn't the first pick in the draft. He wasn't a lottery pick.
No.
He was a second-round draft pick. You look at the guys, and you look at Nikola Jokic, a guy that plays without ego because he was a second-round draft pick, and he had to fight. A la Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't come in with no credentials. Hey, get the helmets, get the shoulder pads. So he had to work his way up, and so he's egoless. Now, obviously, you know, as you get better and better, your ego, but he understood that, okay, this is how you do it. This is how you work it. And he understood that end game. Jalen Brunson understood. Mark Cuban was unwilling because he believed the only reason Jalen Brunson had the season that he had was because he was in a contract year. I don't care what he tells you. He didn't think Jalen Brunson could do what he's doing in New York.
Heck no. Nope. He swung and he missed.
He missed.
So Lucas said the right things yesterday, but he spoke out of both sides of his mouth because he did an exit interview after playing a grand total of 12 minutes and 35 seconds and being pulled from a game, and it was from on high. This was a Mark Cuban decision.
Yeah.
Will they be under fire, under investigation? Yes, they will be. Can you prove
everybody tanking?
That's
what you gonna do? You gonna get mad at Mark Cuban for tanking all of a sudden when teams been tanking the whole year?
The whole year, and they got a top 10 protected pick, and obviously they needed to go ahead and lose these games.
Right.
Because he could see it was going nowhere slowly with Kyrie and Luka, who wound up 9-14 in the games they played together. All I know for sure is the Dallas Mavericks were the 4 seed when Kyrie walked in the door. They wound up the 11 seed after Kyrie and Luka played 23 games together. All I know for sure is that last year, would you believe the Dallas Mavericks actually won 2 rounds of the playoffs?
Yeah,
they beat Utah and they beat Phoenix in a Game 7 at Phoenix. They beat them 123-90. That's by 33 points with Luka and Jalen Brunson. And a much better defensive team with Dorian Finney-Smith, who you had to give up for Kyrie.
Correct.
And you gave up Dinwiddie for Kyrie. So all of a sudden,
fit really well with Luka.
Fit really well with Luka. So what did Luka also say yesterday after he said, oh, I don't want to go anywhere, I want to be a Dallas Maverick? He also said, something's got to change for sure. I mean, last year we went to the Western Conference Finals. We were having fun. I always talk about the chemistry we had last year. It was great, but something's got to change for sure. Well, it just does. That means, to me, I'm reading between the lines. I don't want to play with Kyrie again. We need to get some other pieces to our puzzle. We need to get pieces that fit the way they fit last year, not the way we tried to make it work this year. I'm going to use this stat one more time because the fourth quarter was everything to me, and Kyrie was sensational in the fourth quarter, and it did not matter because it didn't contribute to winning. It didn't impact the scoreboard enough because Luka went into this year as the preseason favorite to win the MVP.
Right.
And all of a sudden, in the games they played together, in the fourth quarters and 2 overtimes they played together, Kyrie took 103 shots to Luka's 50 shots. Kyrie took 53 more shots, more than twice as many than Luka took. And to your point, Kyrie also played 185 fourth quarter and overtime minutes because he would just play all of them.
Correct.
And Luka, for some reason, insisted on coming in at the 6-minute mark, maybe the 7-minute mark. So it was 185 minutes to 108 minutes. So it's like 80-ish more minutes that Kyrie played in the fourth quarters and overtimes. And it wasn't that many games. It was just 23 games. Something is wrong with that picture. To me, Luka was pouting in the fourth quarter, basically saying to Mark Cuban, okay, you brought him in to be the closer, I'm going to watch him close.
Right.
It wasn't that Luka wouldn't shoot at all, but he would shoot half as much as Kyrie in those fourth quarters. That's just wronger. Something did not work. Luka was not happy with Kyrie because I told you from the start, they're actually the very same player in very different packages.
Well, Skip, he said he wasn't happy. He said he made it clear he wanted to make the playoffs, and his team denied him an opportunity to do that on Friday.
They did, and he was not happy with that.
Skip, I done got my mind geared up. I'm coming to the arena. Okay, this is what we need to do to give ourselves a chance. And then for all of a sudden, and you saw with Jason Kidd, don't look at me. That came from up top. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
He might be on a hot seat as we speak.
Oh, of course.
He just might be.
Of course.
If somebody has to, quote unquote, pay for the finishing 11th out of the play-in, maybe Jason Kidd has to pay.
Right. Jay Kidd, it was you that traded for Kyrie. We would remember you did this now. I didn't come to you and Luka like I need some help. I need blah blah blah. But you made this trade because Skip. At some point in time, you can't just consistently outscore. Luka and Kyrie, you look at what they average. But Skip, it's a layup line for the other team.
It is.
They can't get any
rebounds. That's a whole other issue.
They can't get rebounds. They give up second chance points. They don't block shots. They don't steal the ball. They don't get out in transition because they can't get the rebounds. It's so much going on. And it's so much going on that those two guys can't overcome all the issues that you have.
All right. So Kyrie said from jump, when he walked in the door in Dallas, I'll talk about free agency when the season is concluded.
Right.
Yesterday was that opportunity, and he exits stage left from his exit interview.
That's all you got to do.
Luka spoke. Kyrie did not.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving is the ultimate basketball conundrum because he is so wildly gifted. We agree. Have you ever seen a handle better?
Nope.
Have you ever seen anybody who can get much hotter in the fourth quarter, especially at 6'2" maybe?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anybody who can score the basketball in so many crazy, great ways in the fourth quarter like Kyrie can?
Nope.
To your points, everywhere he has gone, something has gone wrong. Where it might not always be his fault, but he's the common denominator.
Right.
He messed it up for LeBron at the end in Cleveland. He really messed it up in Boston. And he ultimately messed it up for KD and James Harden in Brooklyn. And now he came to Dallas, and he walks in the door, and they're the 4 seed, and he exits without doing